Dear audiences, welcome to our GRH Retreat House Real Life Stories Radio. We are honored to give you our sincere greetings in the love of Jesus Christ as well as Mother Perpetual Help. May the love and peace of the Holy Trinity be with you and with your family. This program will be guided by Father John Quỳnh Lưu Ngọc, a Redemptorist in Hanoi, and the members of GRH Retreat House. This radio is broadcasted with the purpose of sharing our experiences, discoveries, confirmation about problems relating to mental and spiritual illness, vocational discernment, religious and married life, and the ways that God has been leading us. This will be continuously broadcasted on fan page and YouTube channel with the name GRH Real Life Stories. New stories will be updated continuously on radio and websites. svcongggiao.net at 9 p.m. on Sundays. We hope that it can bring you into new perspectives, new hope, new directions, and new saving roads about human mysteries, illness, sorrows, and healings, highlighting that these stories can be really useful for those people who are suffering from similar problems as per other people have already experienced and been healed. Dear audiences, in the previous broadcast numbers, GRH Real Life Stories has sent you some stories through which we can see the immense influence of childhood memories on them later life. Earlier those events or changes occur, greater they are influenced. So during pregnancy, will what happens to the mother affect her children later on? Are they affected by the outside world while still in the womb? The following life story of the Brother Vincent Hai from Thai Binh diocese will show a clear answer to the questions raised above. The story named The Imperfect Joy, through the reading voice of J. Long Fab.
After a long period of being trained, I made my first profession of monastic vows in the joy of the monastic community, the parish, and the entire family. After that, I took another exam for Dominican Academy and I passed it, so I could continue my studies. However, I had to stop everything and ask the monastic community for permission to go home for a special treatment. I had a strange disease. It's hard for me to find out what it was, and finally I called it the imperfect joy. Before that, I was going to call it unfinished sperm. I was born and raised in a family of original Catholicize. I had a desire to consecrate myself to God. With that motivation, I tried to study hard and the results were not too bad. Thanks to God's help, I found the monastery and took steps in the path of practice. I lived happily and got along with the brothers in the monastery. Considering my true desire, ability, and vocation were suitable with the spirituality and the privilege of the monastery, so the superior decided to let me make my first vow. Well, after my first profession, or exactly before that, I had been through the darkest days of my life. In those days, I felt the change from inside. I was not interested in anyone or anything, even God. I did not know how to express my mood in those moments exactly. I tried so hard to find, but I failed to overcome my boredom, disappointment, and disorientation. Strangely, the situation only happened within a few days, and then I returned to a normal person and lived happily with others. However, it kept repeating like that again. After all the efforts to overcome this difficulty, I collapsed. I decided to ask the monastic community to let me go home to heal. Introduced by friends and family members, I came to meet Redemptorist priest at Thai Church. After talking with me, Father decided to help me find out the source of the disease, to retreat and review my vocation. I agreed and left my family to come and stay at the Redemptory community. After 6 months of retreat, Father helped me to solve big problems in my family, even with regard to my dad's abnormal death. I started to feel better, and my life was no longer boring as before. I thought that the source, the imperfect joy situation, had been discovered and solved, but my disease did not end. 2 days of the month were still like hell to me. During those 2 days, I did not have any energy to live or love anything. I was depressed and disappointed. I left home wandering, no shoes and no phone. I went without knowing where to go. After 2 days, I returned to the Father. I started to feel joyful and hopeful again. However, the obsession about those days still lingered and kept on happening like that again. I was so worried and scared. I did not know when I could get out of this tragic situation. Realizing that I had not yet become a normal person, so the Father asked to invite my mom and my siblings to have a talk. My family agreed and arranged to meet him. My mom, my older brother, sister, and my younger sister came to meet the Father. After about 15 minutes of talking, Father had a private talk with my mom. After talking, the Father called me and said that he had found the cause of my long and mysterious situation. Father told me a story that my mom had only told him. The story was as follows. After marriage, my mom stayed at my dad's family for a long time. During that time, my brother and sister were born. After that, my parents moved down to build our own house on some land given by grandparents, which was a pond before. Ever since, my mom had not slept well at all. Whenever she prepared to sleep, she felt the bed suddenly stood all the way up. She had to try her best to hold the edge of the bed so that she would not fall down. After an hour of fighting for not falling down, she was exhausted. She surrendered and fell asleep without knowing anything. Being a Catholic, she did not dare to tell the story to anyone, even my dad. She was afraid of being superstitious, and that no one would believe her, or it would make her become a sinner. That's why she suffered it alone in silence for many years. The Father concludes, the current situation of yours is directly affected from pregnancy time. Your positive days are the moments that your mom fought not to fall off the bed, but the days you feel depressed are the result of the surrender day when your mom has fallen into after being exhausted. I was quite satisfied with what Father explained to me. However, there was a thought coming up in my mind. Why were all my siblings born on the new land, but only me falling into this situation? I then asked this question, and Father continued to explain. Not only you, but all of your 3 siblings are affected as well. The difference is that the time it happens depends on their health, will, and circumstances. I then contacted my brother and knew that he also experienced the same situation as I did. Nevertheless, my brother tried not to tell anyone no, because he was afraid that it would affect the path he was pursuing. Finding out the source of my current problem, Father required me to have a plan for a long-term practice, especially on the dark days. I then made a specific plan to show the Father. After being consulted by the Father, I began my fighting against the God of darkness with all my consciousness and strength. After a long time of training, I won. Father asked me to keep practicing. The imperfect joy situation had improved. I had won my memories. During that time, my younger sister also fell into the same situation. She was also bored. She did not sleep, did not want anything, even her husband and children. She even thought of death, so I took her to meet Father to get help. Finally, my sister had overcome the dark days as I had. Personally, after the practice time, I decided to continue my vocation. I felt more confident, and the darkness situation had ended. What made me wonder was why my mother's pregnancy condition affected us so badly. How many mothers understand the importance in pregnancy for their fetus? I had never thought of that before.
Thank you for listening to the Radio GRH Retreat House Real Life Stories. We hope this hearty sharing will be useful for you, and it's possible that someone in the same situation will also have a chance for being healed. Dear friends, if you find this story gives you something interesting or useful, please click the subscribe button to update the next broadcast. If there are any suggestions or comments for our program, please send us via email nhatinhtamgierado@gmail.com. Wish you all a new week full of joy and peace of Jesus Christ. Thank you so much and see you again on the next program.